Okay, I'm going to be showing you how to get rid of this background noise and in here and all that stuff. I'm going to do it as quick as I can. I've got another video program. So I'm just going to make a copy of the background, grab it, drag it down to layer. I got me a one that I'm going to use for, I'm going to call it smooth. First thing I'm going to do, go up to filter, and on my topaz is in here. And I don't know where yours is, but I don't know how you get to it. This is what I was using a while ago on something else. I don't usually leave that on there like that. Anyway, I'm going to drag it over. And I already know it's going to be like 12 or 13 because I've already done this, but I dragged it, you know, I'm going to go back a little bit. You just drag it a couple of increments at a time until you start seeing, you know, I think you know that by now, but anyway, go to 13. And then there's still going to be a little bit of noise in here, and this is just because I shot it that way, you know, with a roll. It was about like ISO 2000. See all this? I'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to say, okay, this is the background. This is the bird and the background. Okay, now you can see I turn it off and on. Look on your screen in the background, the noise, and you can look right in here when I turn it on and off. See, that's gone too, and it still didn't obliterate everything. So I'm going to make a copy of this smooth, and this is going to be I'll call it smooth black, because that's going to be this area. I'm going to go up here, filter, do the same thing. It's got to be highlighted. Filter, like that. Go down to denoise 6 again, and it's already set at 13, and it's not getting rid of it. So you got to move it until it gets rid of majority of it, because we're just going to use it for this black area only. That's pretty good. Let's go with that and say okay. I've already done this video once, and now I realize it wasn't recording the sound. But see, all this is obliterated. So a before and after. There's the original. Now look in here, all that we got rid of. A little bit of details gone, but look in here. See how smooth the details got? But we can fix that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a mask for this. Put a mask there, and I'm gonna fill it with black. I'm gonna grab my paintbrush and change my color swatches down here to white, paint with white, enlarge my brush using the brackets up here by your on the keyboard up by P, and I'm going to paint. I'm supposed to be using my Wacom this time. That's 10%. I need it 100%. Go here and just kind of go in there. I'm doing this real fast, and that's going to get rid of all that. I'm going to come over here and do that to the beat too, although it's a little much, but you can still do it. That'll make it look a little more realistic. I'm going to kind of do parts of the eye there, whatever. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I turn it off and on, and if you'll look right in, look right in here, as I, you know. Okay, now let's go back, and we'll sharpen that. No, let's not do that. You can use the sharp tool over here, the Sharpen Tool. Go over here to the toolbar and look for blur tool, Sharpen Tool, or smudge tool. They're all on the same thing. Choose Sharpen Tool, and you can come in here and go like that. I mean, but we're not getting there yet. you know, I don't want to go there yet. Anyway, what I'm actually going to do is I am going to combine this layer, smooth black, and the smooth background together. I'm going to do that by Control E, and that combines it. Now I got it all in one deal. It's like I don't even have that. This is brand new. Hope that makes sense. So I want to make a copy of this now. Drag it down here and make a copy, and this will be sharpened. And you know how to go up filter and whatever, however you get to it. No, I don't know why that's doing it to me all of a sudden. Okay, I don't want to sharpen that much. I can't remember. I don't know if you've watched it. I've made so many bad videos and never sent them. So I'm just going to go over this. Do not have this checked. Do not have this checked. You don't want to automatically update. You want to use this button because it'll drive you crazy. You may already know that. Anyway, have it on sharpen mode. And I don't want sharpen that much. I've already been here, done this, so this is somewhere in the vicinity. Usually it would be on a good image if it was shot at ISO 400 or something. You'll be down in this range, around 12, 15, something like that. Not up in the 30s or something like that. Just letting you know, the grainier it is, you know, the difference is. Anyway, let's update it, and then I'm probably just going to say okay and apply this down here because it's going to be close enough. But it'll bring back a lot of the details. See all the detail? I mean, it's come back in here, and I think that's a little much. I mean, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Bring it down to 25, and I'm just going to say okay and apply. I would keep doing this and doing this until I got it just right, but just for time constraints sake, I want to get this over as fast as I can. Okay, so I'm going to hold down Alt and this key, and there's a before and after. Now we've got rid of the noise and we've added the sharpness. Now I want to show you something here. Going up here to sharpness, go over here to your toolbar and find the blur tool. See it? And you have it at 100%, and you may not, it might be too much, and make the brush big enough. I'm going to say 50%. And I press the keypads 5 for 50, 1 for 10, 2 for 20, and so on. So see this right in here, how that's too sharp? I'm going to go over it. That's too much. I'm going to go down to 30. I undid it, by the way. And this tool, if you hold it down, it just continues to soften. So you got to do it quick. You got to go over it real quick. So you can make it look more realistic if it's too sharp in areas. See that? This is looking a little more normal. See that? It's a little bit too sharp. This is a little bit too sharp in certain areas, like right in there. I mean, there's, you know, like down in here, I'm just real quickly going over that, and it doesn't jump out at you like, oh, that's over sharp. And this, you know, this, just kind of swipe it. Now I'm gonna come back with the over here to the Sharpen Tool on the same thing, and I come over here and I'll do this, and you see how that's popping out, but it's not too much because I'm controlling it. This right here, I can control that too, and I can make that just a little bit sharper if I want in areas that I want it. You want certain things to be sharp. You can add, you know, you're going to lose a little detail by blurring stuff out, but I mean, like right in here, look at that. Can you see this? And then right under here, look at that, how that, I'm going to undo it. Watch right in here. See that? Now watch, I'm going to redo it. See how that just brought that to life? Now come in here and do that. Watch this. You don't want to go too much, but see that back and forth? And all the feathers over here, look at this. So anyway, it's looking much better. I'm going back to the blur tool, and everybody will tell you don't use the blur tool, don't use the sharpen tool, but I guarantee you they don't know some things. But you can use this in moderation. Just go over and hit little areas that look a little too much. Like, you know, I don't like this, and little areas. But, you know, this is a shot. This shot here, I believe I have it on my Flickr. I have this full size, just like this. And it's to be looked at, you know, 100% close up. So I have to get this just right. You know, and then I take that sharpen that I just did right there. I'm going to drag it down and make another sharpen. Go back up to filter, Topaz Labs, sharpen. And I'm making, I don't know why it keeps doing it, but under here, in little areas like that, I'm going to sharpen that some more. Bring that down here, make sure it's in sharpen. I'm going to go update real fast. And in some areas it's going to make it really sharpen. I don't want to use that. I'm going to mask off what I don't want. So I'm just using it for certain little areas. So I may make 3 or 4 or 5 masks and combine them. Now see in here, I'm going to do the spacebar deal. Watch. Back and forth. See how the detail, look at the detail that came back. And I can even use that right in there. So I'm going to say okay. Apply that. This recording program is a whole lot better. Okay, now I'm going to make a mask down here. I'm going to fill it with black. I'm going to use my brush tool at 100%. And I want to paint with white, which I got it on white. Make my brush tool a little bigger, and I'm going to come under the eyes and kind of make these soft looking areas just like you want them to look on the other. See certain places like right in there, right? Oh, that's too much. I can go to 50% opacity. That's still a little bit too much. 20. And then you can do it 20, 40, 60. You know, you can make it in increments too, but I'm gonna make it, you know, you can add it all up, in other words. And again, I wouldn't, this is not something I would save. I'm just showing you. I'm gonna undo that. I didn't like it. But anyway, this shows you some stuff that you'll be able to use. And not just here, not just in the face. Come on down here, you know, and like, look at that, see how that's working, that's what, you know, there's just so much you can do. Anyway, okay, that's that. It looks pretty good now, if you look at it. There's nothing really wrong with it. I'm going to do a before and after by holding the Alt in the eyeball. See, everything looks a lot closer. The eye looks better. I'm going to go in there and show you a little trick on the eyes. I made a new layer. Let me do that again. I went down here to make a new layer. It's a clear layer. I'm going to change this normal to overlay. With my brush tool, if I paint with black, it makes black areas darker. If I paint with white, it makes light areas darker. This is burning and dodging. Okay, now watch what happens when I do 100% with black. That's way too much. So I'll start off at 10. I press the 1 on the keypad, and I'm going to make my deal a little smaller. And it's not going to look, see, that's just barely. And sometimes I do 05. To do 5, you can't do 5, that'll make it 50 on the keypad. So I do 05. Anyway, come around here, do this stuff. 20 on the keypad on certain things like this, you know, that I know needs a lot. And I know you're not going to want to do this probably, but I want to show you what's available. And I do this to every one of my pictures. And it adds, like, watch this in here. It adds so much detail. I'm going in the little shadow areas. Hopefully you can see this. And it enhances it. All this little stuff makes a huge difference. And if you think this is cheating, it's not, because it's the same thing as using curves or anything like that. That's enhancing what's already there. I'm enhancing what's already there. This is not cheating in any way. Some people are going to argue, but I mean, you know, don't tell them, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Anyway, just go in here. Now I'm going to use the X on my keypad, and that changes the swatches over here on the toolbar. See that? I'm changing that to white. And I come in here, and see on the eyeball, you don't want to do it too much, just barely. If it's already kind of white, it'll brighten up fast. If it's dark, like in here, look at that, it's barely doing something. So that's good. It lets you do stuff in smaller increments. Like, see, this is brightening up faster. And I just do all these little things that I see, follow them, and just tracing really. And just come in here, and I'll come in here and I'll do these, like that. And it only does it a little bit, but it's a contrast move is all it is. Like if I was using curves, this is no different than using curves. It's just you're doing it manually. That's the only difference. That's why it's not cheating. Anyway, now I would do it a little bit better, you know. And some things I would come in here and add a little bit. Now see, I can always come back and change all this. And let me go before and after. See the difference? Now I'm going to put it back to 100%. And see how glassy the eye looks when I do it before and after? If you don't like this, go up here to opacity and lower it until it looks normal to you. And then when you go before and after, that's a little bit too much. I'd say 75, 70, something like that. Yeah. See, that looks more natural. Because birds' eyes are not watery, glassy. They're wet, but they're not wet like ours. I don't even think they have tear ducts. I'm going to shoot that thing one of these days. So anyway, that's this is dodging and burning. Let's spell that right. I can't even see it, it's so low. And there's your sharpen copy. That's just I think that was for this, I can't remember. And then that's just for the eye, actually this and that. You can move these wherever you want them to. It'll help you. You know, I want that with this. So I mean, I could actually combine that if I wanted to. I'm not going to. There's your smooth on and off. That's really included with this one. Anyway, that's pretty much it. You know, what I would be doing next is doing a curves on here, but that needs to be a video on its own. It's not hard. I'll show you how easy it is, but I don't want to make this too long. And anyway, I'm going to do a before and after by clicking on this eyeball and holding down the Alt key. Look at the entire background, the sharpness that was done. And I mean, you know, I don't know what you think, but it looks pretty good to me. I mean, again, if I was showing this full size like this, I would make sure it's all perfect. I'll show you a little trick real quick. I want to, so I'm going to create a new layer. I'm I'm going to go over here to the blur tool and go down to the smudge tool. Golly, I don't know why it keeps doing it. See up here at the strength, I have it at 80%. I'm going to put it like at 95 or something and sample all layers. And I'm going to make my brush tool real little. And I'm going to go like this. And I want to show you what you can do. So I'll make my brush tool a little bit little. So these areas here that look like crap, you don't even have to show it out here. You know, you kind of smooths up these little feathers and stuff, and it adds an immense amount of detail. Now, I hesitate to show you this. If I can even find it. I'm really rusty. I believe it's H. Yeah. Rotate view tool. Now watch this. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm using my hand tool to move it. Now I'm going back to my smudge tool, and see, it's easy for me to drag. Drag this now because see, I don't want to get up here and drag in the blue. Watch. See that? I don't want that. Anyway, but see, this adds a little bit of detail, just a little minute amount of detail, and it helps a whole lot. And it smooths up. See this crappy look? It gets rid of that. So you're not really making stuff up. You're just enhancing. And you might want to go out past it because you really have to. But the reason I have it turned like this is because it would be almost impossible for me to do this. I know that's a little blue there, but it's almost impossible for me to do this right if I had it at another angle. Okay, and then you just go, where is it? I can't remember. Somewhere up here. Let's see. Huh. I don't know where it is. There it is. There's another way to. Anyway, that's smudge tool. Oh no, that's the hand tool. I'm sorry. Rotate. Now, see. It says reset view. I'd had on the wrong thing. I'm on the move. I moved it, so I want to reset view, so it puts it right back. I told you I'm rusty. But anyway, I don't know. Look over here as I turn it. As I click that. It's a sloppy job. Look over here. But it makes a little bit of difference, and it especially is really good on this. Let me go back to the smudge tool, and it's really good on these little dark hairs. Feathers. You don't want to go too much, and I should have done it while it was still turned. But if it's really white or really dark, but see right here how crappy that is. But now it's not so crappy looking. See, it looks like little individual feathers. So it really comes in handy. And I go over this hair or feather and all that stuff. Now see, that looks a million times better than having a foggy looking blurry deal. And anyway, I'm just showing you real quick, but anyway, and I can get rid of, I don't know if you can see this halo around there. There's ways to get rid of that, and I'll show you in another detailed dealy whopper. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hopefully it's not too long, and hopefully my microphone's working. It didn't last time. All right then. Thanks again.